So what's your reaction to this statistic about a decline in IGR before we talk about the budget and the broader economy?
Thank you very much and good morning. Now, the drop did not come as a surprise because Lagos is the commercial nerve center of the country, and it is from what is happening in Lagos that actually reflects what is happening in the broader economy. Now, given the kind of environment that we are in, particularly the uncertainty around the elections, given the issues around oil price, given the issues of the general level of investors' confidence, generally, at least in the last 6 months, it's not surprising that you have this kind of drop in IGR. It's a reflection of the kind of slowing down in the tempo of economic activity.
But does it give you concern for the future that Lagos State may become even more aggressive in generating internally generated revenue and perhaps increase taxes? Because that could be providing a lot more damage, if you like, to the private sector, that it continues to struggle in the light of the slow growth of Nigeria's economy.
No, I mean, the Lagos State government, I'm sure, also has to be realistic. You can't give what you don't have. I mean, the private sector or the taxpayers can only pay to the extent that they have the capacity to pay. They can only pay to the extent that their businesses are prosperous. You have a situation where the economy is slowing down, where confidence is dropping generally, where we have challenges with risk around elections, where you have challenges with uncertainty generally around the political transition activities. Generally, you should expect a drop. And if the performance of the private sector is getting weaker as a result of this, I mean, you can't get the money that is not there. So I expect the Lagos State government to also, rather than become more aggressive, I think they should also be more realistic as to what are the prospects of growing revenue. I'm hoping that after the election and things continue to get better, as things begin to settle down properly, oil price hopefully begins to pick up, I'm sure that the situation will improve thereafter. But between now and the next couple of months, I don't expect that much will happen in terms of any rapid change positively in terms of the prosperity of business. And it is the prosperity of businesses that will also reflect on their capacity to pay tax. Because you pay tax on your profit. You know, you pay tax on your ability to retain your staff and pay PE and all of that. Depends on how well businesses are performing.
Well, we do know that corporate income tax is collected by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, which is not necessarily driven by the activities of Lagos State. But there is that concern that Lagos State, like many other states across the country, because of the pressure to increase internally generated revenues, may begin to be a little more aggressive in collecting other taxes. But let's speak about the competition for business that Lagos is in with other states. Do you get the sense that Lagos continues to be the destination of choice for especially foreign investors who are looking to enter Nigeria, or do you think there is real competition coming from other states right now?
Well, there is competition coming from other states, particularly from the point of view of manufacturing or production. Because, you know, Lagos State has a major constraint as far as land is concerned. So we have seen in the last couple of years migration to neighboring states, particularly Ogun State. But in terms of commercial activities, in terms of the services sector operations and all of that, I think Lagos is still the place to be. You know, because of, you know, the presence around here, Lagos is like a hub. We have a huge cluster of financial sector activities, ICT sector activities, the entertainment industry, and all of that. So you can't easily take that away from Lagos. But when it comes to things that require, activities that require a very large land mass, like a manufacturing setup, like an agricultural investment, like a processing setup, of course, the cost of land in Lagos is very expensive. So people naturally migrate to the neighboring states, particularly the state or something. But in terms of the core investment activity, because don't forget, this economy has the GDP that the service sector contributes is over 50%. The economy is about 50% services. And a lot of these service sector operations are concentrated in Lagos. So I don't see much happening in terms of other states attracting more investment. If you talk of FDI, foreign direct investment, that we have to go into production and things like that, yes, I will say that because of the constraint of land, some of those investments will go into others. But given the role of the service sector in this economy today, I think Lagos is still the place to be.
But as we try to consider the budget that will be presented today, in your view, what is the biggest challenge for this government? We know that there is huge migration to Lagos. It is a mega city in Nigeria. Do you get the sense that infrastructure is perhaps the biggest challenge for this government to deal with, given the pressure that is brought on it from the urban migration and, of course, business commercial activity in the state?
Absolutely. Because Lagos population is now estimated to be getting close to about 24 million. And given that this is the state with the smallest landmass and having the biggest population, you can imagine the pressure on infrastructure, the pressure on the roads, the pressure on healthcare, the pressure on education, the pressure on the environment, waste management, and even security. So the pressure is increasing. And if you look at the budget in per capita terms, Lagos is not probably as rich as many people think. Because by the time you divide the budget by the population, this is a very small number. Then Lagos also is the most indebted state in the country. So there's also the burden of having to service a whole lot of debt. And there's a lot of borrowing that has taken place and all of that. So debt servicing is also a major issue. And there's a limit to which the state government can also drive investors as far as internally generated revenue is concerned. Recall what happened during the land charge crisis last year, when there was massive revolt or protest against the decision of the state government to increase the property tax. So these challenges are there. The increasing pressure on the states in terms of facilities is creating a lot of challenge. I mean, look at the traffic.
Yes.
Lagos has practically reached its limit in terms of expanding the traffic network as far as the road infrastructure is concerned.
Right.
So what needs to be done now is to look at other modes of transportation and so on and so forth. And all these things put a lot of pressure on resources.
Right. We really have to end it there. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective this morning.